It didn't start with fireworks or a splashy headline. There was no dramatic Instagram countdown or flashy press release. Instead, it began quietly, deep inside Ferrari's headquarters in Maranello. Behind closed doors, a handful of senior engineers huddled together. Whatever they decided that day spread through the Formula One paddock like wildfire. Ferrari had finally locked in their plan for the 2026 car, and it was nothing short of bold. For the first time in decades, they're tossing aside their own rulebook. No minor tweaks, no half measures. They're building this car from scratch, with one man in mind: Lewis Hamilton. His driving style, his preferences, and even his demands will shape every inch of the machine. For a team that's built its reputation on sticking to its own way no matter the pressure, this is a complete about-face. They're betting it all on Hamilton. It's a gamble that could deliver him the long-awaited 8th World Championship, or turn his Ferrari dream into one of the biggest heartbreaks Formula One has ever seen. At the start of 2025, spirits were high in Maranello. Winter testing had revealed a Ferrari that could keep McLaren within striking distance, and even make Red Bull sweat a little. It wasn't domination, but it was enough to spark hope. With steady upgrades, maybe, just maybe, they could close the gap. But as the season rolled on, that hope started to fade. The upgrades didn't move the needle. Race days turned into a frustrating loop of missed chances and questionable strategy calls. The same weaknesses kept haunting them, especially tire wear, and Hamilton never seemed fully at home in the SF25. He could light up the timing sheets in qualifying, but over a full race, the discomfort showed. Now, the biggest rule shakeup in years is looming. The 2026 regulations will mean smaller, lighter cars, less downforce, brand new power unit rules, a complete reset for everyone on the grid. Ferrari knows they can't step into this new era with a car built for the wrong strengths. They have to give Hamilton exactly what he needs, or risk throwing away one of their best shots in modern history. And part of that challenge, Hamilton and Charles Leclerc drive in completely different ways. Hamilton likes a front end that feels rock solid and sharp, one that lets him brake late, turn in with total confidence, and get back on the throttle early without the rear end snapping loose. That stability is his secret weapon. It lets him build a rhythm, protect his tires, and push lap after lap. Leclerc, on the other hand, is a different animal. He's happy with a car that dives into corners aggressively, even if the rear gets twitchy. If the back steps out, he can catch the slide and keep the momentum flowing. The problem? The SF25 was built for Leclerc's style, and that left Hamilton fighting to find his flow all season. With the 2026 rules slashing down force and demanding adaptability, Ferrari can't risk building a car that only shines in one driver's sweet spot. They'll need a machine that works on all kinds of tracks, and that means shifting its DNA toward Hamilton's needs. Enter Loïc Serra. Once Mercedes' head of vehicle dynamics, Serra worked alongside Hamilton during multiple championship-winning years. He knows exactly what kind of car brings out Hamilton's best and how the 7-time champ communicates his feedback, something that's pure gold in Formula One, from suspension geometry to weight distribution, from aerodynamic stability to the shape of the cockpit around Hamilton. Every detail will be crafted with intent. The goal sounds simple but is incredibly hard to achieve. Build a car Hamilton can trust in any condition, on any track, for an entire season of title-level racing. In Formula One, that kind of predictability and adaptability can be even more valuable than raw, one-lap speed. For years, Charles Leclerc has been the heartbeat of Ferrari's development program. Since 2019, the team's design philosophy has been molded around his feedback. Engineers know exactly how he likes the car to feel, and that familiarity has made progress smooth and efficient. But now, Hamilton changes the equation. Ferrari must walk a fine line. Lean too far toward Hamilton's style, and Leclerc could lose the comfort that makes him quick. stick too closely to Leclerc's preferences, and Hamilton's arrival risks becoming little more than a headline for the press. Other teams have faced this kind of balancing act before. Red Bull builds their cars entirely around Max Verstappen, leaving his teammates to adapt or struggle. McLaren takes a different approach, working to keep both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri competitive, even if it means sacrificing a bit of ultimate performance for one driver. Ferrari's choice will shape the future. Will Hamilton and Leclerc become a true super team, pushing each other to new heights? Or will they turn into two elite drivers pulling in opposite directions? Hamilton has never shied away from using his words as a weapon. In 2025, there were moments when he stood in front of the cameras and called himself useless. To casual fans, it sounded like brutal self-criticism, but to those who know him, it was a tactic, taking the blame to make it crystal clear the car wasn't giving him the tools to fight and to spark urgency inside the team. The Hungarian Grand Prix made the problem impossible to ignore. Leclerc started from pole, while Hamilton failed to even make Q3. One Ferrari on the front row, the other stuck in midfield. Moments like that don't just hurt the points tally, they ramp up political pressure inside Maranello and send a clear message. The teams Ferrari cannot afford to get 2026 wrong. With the budget cap and strict limits on aerodynamic testing, the opening races will set the tone for the entire year. In modern Formula One, if you miss the performance window in the first 4 to 6 rounds, you're effectively out of the title fight before summer. Hamilton knows this better than anyone. His career has been built on consistency, not just chasing the occasional qualifying miracle. In his eyes, a car that can bank strong points every weekend is far more valuable than one that's unbeatable on its best days, but unpredictable on its worst. The math tells the story. If Ferrari can give Hamilton a car that finishes just 2 positions higher per race over a 24-round season, that's roughly a 96-point swing compared to 2025. That's enough to challenge even a peak Red Bull, but only if the car is competitive from the very start. And once the rest of the grid realizes Ferrari's 2026 machine is built around Hamilton, the counterattack will come. Mercedes will run endless simulations to pinpoint Hamilton's weak spots and design race strategies to exploit them. McLaren will focus on building a car that works for any driving style, ready to strike on weekends when Ferrari struggles to balance both Hamilton and Leclerc. And Red Bull? They'll be ruthless. If they sense Ferrari gaining momentum, they'll push upgrades forward, even if it means sacrificing their long-term plans, just to break that rhythm. The battle in 2026 won't just be against the stopwatch, it'll be a year-long chess match between the sharpest technical minds and strategists in the sport. If Ferrari's gamble works, it could finally end their long title drought and make them the benchmark team once again. Hamilton's precision, obsession with detail, and demand for consistency could become part of Ferrari's DNA for years to come. For Hamilton, it would mean an 8th world championship, won in Ferrari red, the ultimate crown jewel on a legendary career. But if it fails, it won't just be. Everything now builds toward that first night under the floodlights in Bahrain, early 2026. The shakedown won't just be a systems check, it'll be the sport's first real glimpse at whether Ferrari's gamble has paid off. Every eye in the paddock will be locked on Hamilton as he charges toward the first heavy braking zone. Engineers, rivals, and fans alike will be watching for the tiniest clues. A slight steering adjustment, a quick change in throttle. Will he give that subtle nod, the unspoken sign that the car finally speaks his language? Or will his body language reveal that compromise is still baked into the machine? For Leclerc, it will be the ultimate test of adaptability. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Ferrari's 2026 gamble isn't just about Hamilton's 8th title or ending a 2-decade drought. It's about whether the Scuderia has the guts to admit its old ways don't work anymore. If they succeed, the sport will hail them as visionaries who rewrote the rulebook. If they fail, History will remember this as the moment Ferrari sold its soul for a headline signing. What do you think? Has Ferrari made the masterstroke of the decade? Or have they just walked into the biggest trap in Formula One? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe for more hard-hitting F1 stories, and ring the bell so you don't miss a single update. Until next time, keep your eyes on the track, because 2026 is about to change everything.